Unit 7, not Unit 7, Unit 2, Day 7. But it's a continuation of yesterday. It's still solving polynomials. Still solving polynomials. So we know all of the techniques, the methods. It's going to be a little harder today because we're going to throw some more i's and square roots at you. Given that x equals 3i is a 0 of f of x equals x cubed minus 2x squared plus 9x minus 18. Find the other zeros. Given that x equals 3i is a 0 of that function, find the other zeros. How many zeros are there? 3.
It's probably x equals 0.
How many? They gave us 1, but they kind of gave us 2. What's the other one that they gave us? Minus 3i. Now, I know those are roots, so if I synthetic divide with them, I should get, what should I get at the end? I should get 0. So I'm going to synthetic divide. Leave a little more space than normal maybe, because with i's it takes a little bit of room. I'm going to synthetic divide with 3i. It's going to look funny, it's going to look ugly, it's going to be weird, but I should get 0 when I get to the end, because 3i is supposed to be a root. So we'll slow it down on this one because we haven't synthetic divided with i's before, but it works the same way. So copy down the 1, multiply, you get 3i.
3i minus 2.
Now we need to be careful. It's 3i minus 2. Now we need to be real careful. Like maybe come out to the side
Negative 6.
so we don't mess this up.
Minus,
9i squared minus 6i. But what's 9i squared? Negative 9. Negative 9 minus 6i.
it's just negative 6.
Oh, the 9's cancel. And we're left with just negative 6i. That's good news. 3i times negative 6i would be negative 18i squared, which is a positive 18, which, I mean, we expected that to happen because we wanted to get 0 there. So 3i works. We knew that 3i works, but the reason we're doing this is to simplify the polynomial and get something easier to work with. Well, we also know that negative 3i works, so let's try negative 3i. The second time through with a conjugate always works better because things cancel out. And so it's kind of confirmation as you're going that you're on the right track here. So multiply, we get negative 3i. Oh, that's nice.
It's minus 2.
That's just minus 2. Multiply 6i. That gives us 0, which confirms what we already knew. And so what does that? What does 1 negative 2 mean? What are we left with?
That means it's going to
X minus 2.
X minus 2.
Means X equals 2.
So X equals 2. So X equals 3i, negative 3i, and 2. So synthetic dividing, knowing that you're going to get 0 as an answer, but doing it to get reduced coefficients. Same type problem, but with a square root. Given that x equals negative square root of 2 is a root of f of x equals x to the 4th plus 6x cubed plus 7x squared minus 12x minus 18. That's a lovely one. X to the fourth plus 6x cubed plus 7x squared minus 12x minus 18.
Already got 2 of them.
Find the zeros, and we do have 2 of them.
1, 6,
So
7.
we know square root 2 and negative square root of 2 are zeros. How many more zeros will there be?
Dos.
2, because we got a total of 4. So again, synthetic divide, space them out so you got room to work. It doesn't matter. Do you want to use root 2 or negative root 2 first?
Root 2.
That's what I think as well.
Yeah.
It's just positive seems like it might be easier to deal with. Copy down the 1. Multiply. How do I add? What's 6 plus square root of 2?
Square root of 2 plus 6. I'm not doing the rest of it.
6 plus square root of 2. This one may be easier than the i's. I don't know. I guess it depends on how good you are with square roots. Multiply this. I get 6 root 2 plus 2, because root 2 times root 2 is 2. Add those. I get 6 root 2 plus 9. By the way, we know we're supposed to get 0 at the end, so these are kind of nice because there's little checks along the way that make sure you're doing it right.
How did the 6 go from a plus to a times?
Magic.
Well, I multiplied 6 plus root 2 times root 2. And again, if it gets complicated, then you come out to the side and do it. Root 2 times 6 root 2 plus 9. So definitely 9 root 2 for the second piece. But what's root 2 times 6 root 2? 12. Because root 2 times root 2 is 2. Times 6 is 12. So 12 plus 9 root 2. Oh, that was kind of convenient. The 12s go away, and that leaves me with 9 root 2.
Positive 18.
And this better be positive 18 in order to get 0. So if you trust everything you've done so far, you could just write 18 there and assume it works. Probably better to multiply to make sure. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. Times 2 is 18.
6 minus
Square root of 2 works. I mean, we knew it worked. The reason we did that was to get a reduced set of coefficients. Why don't you try negative square root of 2? And then we'll check and compare. So yeah, that leaves me 169. There's a couple ways to figure out what we're dealing with here. We started with x to the fourth, so we're down to x squared. Or you can start at the other end and say, well, that one's just a number, and work your way up. So that one's 6x.
X. Oh, we can just do the factor thing.
Yeah, we can do the factor thing on that one. X plus 3 times x plus 3.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a double root.
Ah, so that is a double root. So x equals negative 3 is a double root. Well, it factors with a plus 3, which means the root is minus 3, or negative 3. And it happens twice. Double root. We've got 4 total zeros, which is what I was expecting. So you can see that what we're doing today is the same as what we did yesterday, synthetic division, except that there's i's and square roots. So it's just a little bit harder. But the process is the same. Speaking of a little bit harder, but the process is the same. You're like, no, stop. Find all the zeros. I told you there's going to be 4 examples, so we're almost there.
4.
Yeah, I saw one of the bubble writers.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'm discovering I am too. I'm starting to write smaller. I have the advantage that I can write smaller and just zoom in and keep mine looking the same for you. Find all the zeros of y equals x cubed minus 5x squared minus 9x minus 35.
It's like when you're writing an essay, you start big and it slowly gets smaller when you realize so whatever.
How many zeros am I going to have?
3.
How many did they give me? None.
All of them, because you have to solve it out.
Huh.
Technically.
So that means I got to do the guess and check thing. Okay, so what are my factors of negative 35? Okay, 1, yes. What else? Good job.
That's it. That's it. Just 1.
35. Definitely 1 and 35. I will not be guessing 35 first. 5 and 7.
Oh my god.
And then factors of the first are just 1, so I guess it's not awful. 1, negative 5, negative 9, negative 35. All right, let's...
I'm going to go ahead and say it's maybe 7.
Those numbers get kind of big, so if I put 1 in there,
Let's just do 7.
I'm not gonna get there quick enough.
Wait.
So I'm gonna rule out 1 and negative 1 because those are just too small. So I think I should try 5 or 7.
It needs to be a negative. So negative 7. Let's do negative 7.
Well,
Did I guess it? Did I guess it right? Your smile said maybe.
okay, so I heard 5, 7, and negative 7.
Negative 7.
I'm also running out of space. Let's try 5. Okay, well this looks good so far.
But it's going to end up a negative.
Oh, that doesn't look good.
Oh no.
That don't work.
That don't work.
So negative 7.
Oh well.
I was going to do 5 anyway.
So what was our other guess? 7?
Negative 7.
I'm gonna guess positive 7.
But it's still going to end up with a negative.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Ah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
X equals 7.
Did I say
But
negative?
that demonstrates that you could have guessed 5, negative 5, and negative 7 all wrong. I suppose you could have guessed 35 and negative 35. Like, if you were a really bad guesser, you could guess 7 wrong things before you got to 7. Hopefully you could rule some of the things out, like 35 and 1s, and this one was the middle ones. So 7 worked. And then what am I doing with x squared plus 2x plus 5? What?
Wait,
Right, because that's what's left over. That's the depressed coefficients. Depressing. Why is it depressing to you? I wouldn't be depressed if it would factor. I'd like it if it would factor. But if it doesn't factor, it's not a sad day. I can't square root it because I can't get x squared by itself.
it's stuck.
There it is. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. You gotta sing it with more enthusiasm than that. All over 2a. Can't just mumble monotone. All over 2a. No, you
It's too exciting.
gotta commit to
It's
it.
a bit too exciting.
Negative 2 plus or minus square root of 4 minus 20 over 2. Negative 2 plus or minus square root of negative 16 over 2. Well, that's not too bad. We know how to handle that. Sure we do. What's the square root of negative 16? 4i. And then who gets divided by 2? Everybody. Good answer. Everybody. Negative 1 plus or minus 2i. So how many zeros did I end up with? 3. How many was I supposed to have? 3. That was better. A little better enthusiasm there. Only all over 2a.
Alright, I got about half an inch.
So yeah,
I got an inch on one side and a quarter.
I got an inch and a half left here. I think this one will be a little quicker. If f of x equals 2x cubed minus 2x squared plus 3x plus k. Ty? Yeah, sorry, it's going fast. So you know what's coming on this one. I got to give you one more piece of information, and then I'm going to ask you to find k. F of 3 equals 30. Find k. Two options for this one.
I do have a find.
Two options for this.
Not very slow.
What could you do to figure out what k is? Okay, you can plug in 3. Not a bad option, but then I gotta do 3 cubed. Ty? Oh, it was off the screen. So I could plug in 3 and set it equal to 30. But I could do synthetic division, and what am I looking for if I do synthetic division? What will I do? I mean, I can do synthetic division, and I will use 3. I won't use negative 3. But how am I going to figure out what k is?
It's a 1. Yeah. That's what.
Not whatever makes it 0. Whatever makes it 30. So this one's not a 0, it's a 30. We don't use 30s very often, but instead of it being a 0, it equals 30. So when I get to the end, I'll set whatever this is equal to 30 and figure out k that way. Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. What did you say, too big?
No. All of it too big.
Oh, k plus 45, that's not bad. So k equals negative 15. That wasn't too bad. No, still bad. All right, today's assignment is worksheet 7, but I want to That's on. No, we're good. Those notes are for the next day.
Oh, I thought you were about to write another problem.
No, I'm out of room. Passed out of room. And there's still 15 minutes left, so